Welcome to the Greek Minds YouTube channel. In the midst of life's swirling challenges and daily stresses, is it possible to find a haven of tranquility? Imagine navigating life with a calm, composed demeanor, even when faced with adversity. This isn't about detachment, but rather cultivating an inner resilience that allows you to remain undisturbed by life's twists and turns. Ancient Stoic philosophy, born over 2,000 years ago, offers profound insights that can guide us on this journey. This isn't just a historical concept, but a way of living that can transform our daily approach. Stoicism invites us to view the world through a different lens, to ask ourselves meaningful questions. What if our peace wasn't dictated by external events? What if we could find strength not in changing circumstances, but in changing our responses? Imagine facing obstacles not as sources of stress, but as tools for growth. By embracing these Stoic teachings, we can learn to master our thoughts, find clarity amidst chaos, and develop a profound sense of inner peace that radiates outward. The path to unshakable calmness is paved with 10 guiding principles, each a step closer to mastering the art of inner tranquility. Stick with us through this video to unlock the most profound insights, especially the final one, which reveals a powerful tool that ties in all the other principles. Now let us begin our journey, one principle at a time. 1. Prioritize rationality over emotion. In moments of frustration or turmoil, how often do we act on impulse, letting emotions drive our decisions? This reaction is natural, yet Stoicism teaches us a different approach. Rationality, not emotion, is the anchor that keeps us steady in turbulent times. Instead of letting feelings dictate our actions, we can learn to pause, think, and respond with a calm mind. As Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us, the wise man builds his house on the rock. This rock is reason, a foundation that neither storms nor misfortunes can shake. Imagine a situation where someone criticizes your work. The immediate response might be defensiveness or even anger. But what if you paused? What if, instead of reacting, you asked yourself, does this feedback contain something I can learn from? By allowing rational thought to lead, you can transform potential conflict into a constructive moment. Stoicism teaches that reason brings clarity, while emotions often cloud our vision. Have you ever experienced regretting words spoken in anger or actions taken in frustration? Consider another example, a stressful day at work when everything seems to go wrong. Perhaps a project didn't meet expectations or a colleague's behavior grated on you. In these moments, we can feel the pull of stress, but Stoicism reminds us to pause, breathe, and evaluate. Ask yourself, will getting upset help me solve this issue, or would a rational, calm approach serve me better? The answer, more often than not, reveals that a clear mind is a powerful ally. In practicing this principle, we don't ignore emotions, but recognize them for what they are. Temporary states that can either be given full control or respectfully acknowledged and then set aside. This balance, where emotions are observed but not followed blindly, is a hallmark of the Stoic approach. It's not suppression, but mastery, where reason is the guiding star. Just as a steady ship can weather a storm with a strong anchor, so too can we weather life's emotional storms by anchoring ourselves in rational thought. Yet this mastery takes practice. Ask yourself how you might approach tomorrow differently if you paused before each response. Could you create a daily habit of reflecting on moments where rationality could have changed your reactions? When we make reason our default response, we transform situations that once disturbed us into mere learning experiences. As we master this first principle, we prepare ourselves for deeper resilience in the next principle. In the next principle, we explore the power of recognizing the disturbances we create within ourselves, often without even realizing it. Avoid self-created upsets. How often do we unintentionally cause our own suffering? Consider those moments when minor annoyances escalate into significant problems, or a single setback ruins an entire day. Stoicism encourages us to recognize that many of our troubles aren't triggered by external events, but rather by our own interpretations. The Stoics taught that much of our suffering is optional, a byproduct of our thoughts rather than objective reality. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Imagine being late for an appointment and getting stuck in traffic. As the minutes tick by, frustration grows, and thoughts race about potential negative consequences. However, Stoicism prompts us to pause and question, will anger or worry accelerate our arrival? Does dwelling on the delay alter the situation? When we acknowledge that our reactions are within our control, we reclaim our peace from self-imposed disturbances. Similarly, a careless comment, a minor inconvenience, or a momentary disappointment can often ignite a cascade of negative thoughts. But what if, instead, we practiced mindfulness and asked ourselves, am I exaggerating this situation? Upon examining our thoughts, we often realize that many of these frustrations exist solely because we permit them. Have you observed this pattern in your own life? Reflect on a recent irritation and ask yourself, was the upset genuine, or did I amplify it through my response? The Stoic approach isn't to deny emotions or frustrations, but to perceive them clearly and comprehend their origins. In doing so, we discover that many of our perceived troubles are rooted in our minds, not in the external world. By choosing to release these unnecessary upsets, we lighten our mental burden. Imagine the tranquility that arises from allowing minor issues to remain minor, and recognizing when a trivial event doesn't warrant our energy. Embracing this principle also renders us less susceptible to emotional manipulation. When we understand that our reactions are our own, we liberate ourselves from being influenced by the actions or words of others. Someone else's poor mood or criticism need not disrupt our inner calm. How would your life change if you ceased creating unnecessary problems? If you no longer permitted minor inconveniences to deprive you of joy and clarity? As you move forward, endeavor to observe your thoughts. The next time you feel annoyed or upset, ask yourself, is this truly worth my peace? This simple question is a potent tool for cultivating mental resilience. Having explored the roots of self-created disturbances, we can now turn to the next principle, building and protecting our inner sanctuary. 3. Cultivate inner peace. What is inner peace, and how do we attain it in a world filled with uncertainty and external pressures? Inner peace isn't a state of blissful ignorance or detachment. Rather, it's a profound, enduring calm that remains unshaken by life's inevitable challenges. Stoicism teaches that while we can't always control what happens around us, we can control our responses, creating a sanctuary within that remains untouched by external turmoil. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, asserted, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Consider the image of a still lake deep within a forest. No matter how fierce the storm above, the lake remains calm beneath the surface, its depths undisturbed. This lake symbolizes inner peace. Regardless of how turbulent life becomes on the outside, cultivating inner peace enables us to retain clarity, patience, and strength on the inside. But how do we build such calmness? Stoicism suggests practices like meditation, mindful breathing, and reflection, which help ground us when external pressures arise. When confronted with a stressful situation, we can pause, take a deep breath, and ask ourselves, is this something I can control? This simple question can diffuse the urgency of many stressors. If the situation is within our control, we can calmly plan a response. If it's beyond our control, we can let go and refocus our attention on what we can influence. Stoicism reminds us that inner peace stems from this conscious separation between what is within our power and what is not. Moreover, cultivating inner peace involves learning to be present. Often we become anxious about what might happen tomorrow or frustrated by what happened yesterday. However, as Stoicism teaches, true peace can only be found in the present moment, the only moment where we truly have influence. Have you ever felt more anxious or unsettled simply because you were thinking too far ahead or reliving a past situation? When we ground ourselves in the present moment, we discover that many anxieties dissipate, leaving room for tranquility to take hold. To begin cultivating this practice, dedicate a few minutes each day to quiet contemplation. Spend time in stillness, observing your thoughts and releasing any that do not contribute to your peace. You may find it helpful to focus on your breath, allowing each exhale to release any tension you may feel. While seemingly simple, this practice can profoundly alter your response to life's challenges. What could be more powerful than confronting life's storms with the calm clarity of a still lake within? As we construct this inner sanctuary of peace, we uncover a wellspring of resilience, a refuge to which we can return whenever life becomes overwhelming. This inner sanctuary is impervious to external disturbances. It is a strength we cultivate and protect ourselves. Imagine living each day with this sense of calm, knowing that regardless of external circumstances, your inner self remains steady and peaceful. Once we comprehend the value of inner peace, we are ready to embark on a deeper practice, daily reflection. This next principle is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and a potent tool for personal growth. Practice daily reflection. Have you ever paused at the end of a long day to ask yourself, what did I learn today? In the Stoic tradition, reflection is not merely a tool for self-improvement, but a practice for cultivating wisdom and resilience. Daily reflection allows us to examine our thoughts, actions, and reactions, enabling us to identify areas where we may have faltered, where we demonstrated strength, and where we can improve. As Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, reminds us in his Meditations, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. By reflecting each day, we take ownership of our experiences and utilize them to shape a wiser, stronger self. In practicing daily reflection, we deepen our self-awareness. The practice can be as simple as asking, what did I do well today? What could I have done differently? Reflection allows us to identify patterns in our reactions, helping us understand what triggers us and why. Have you noticed certain situations that consistently disturb your peace? Are there moments when you react impulsively instead of patiently? By asking these questions, we uncover insights into our behaviors, enabling us to transcend them. Imagine keeping a journal where each evening you jot down a few lines about the key moments of your day. You might note a situation that upset you and reflect on what led to that feeling. What thoughts were you having? Was your response proportionate to the situation? By reflecting, you'll begin to discern patterns, empowering you to make conscious changes. This habit allows you to see yourself more clearly, to observe where you have control and where your reactions may need refinement. Reflection also brings to light our virtues and where they need development. Are you practicing patience when challenged? Are you compassionate toward others, even on difficult days? When we reflect, we remind ourselves of the kind of person we aspire to be and assess whether we're living up to that ideal. The purpose of reflection is not to judge ourselves harshly, but to learn from each experience, treating each day as an opportunity for growth. Over time, this practice strengthens our sense of purpose and builds the resilience that keeps us calm amid life's uncertainties. Reflection need not be confined to moments of perceived failure. It's equally important to celebrate small victories. If you remained calm in a challenging situation, acknowledged someone's perspective, or took a moment to breathe instead of reacting impulsively, recognize these as steps toward inner mastery. Each positive action strengthens your inner peace, reinforcing the foundation of calm and clarity you're building within. Consider how your life might change if you took just 5 minutes each evening to review your day. What would you discover about yourself? What patterns would you uncover? By practicing daily reflection, you're not merely going through life, you're actively growing within it, becoming more aware of your mind, your reactions, and your capacity for peace. This practice of reflection prepares us for the next principle, one that teaches us to embrace the natural ebb and flow of life with embrace impermanence. Gracefully embrace impermanence. Life is in a constant state of flux, ever-changing and flowing like a river that never ceases its course. The Stoics recognized this fundamental truth. Everything is in a perpetual state of motion, and nothing remains static. This understanding, known as the acceptance of impermanence, encourages us to embrace change as an inevitable part of existence, rather than resisting it. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." When we recognize the impermanent nature of all things, we learn to appreciate each moment for its unique qualities. Consider the relationships, possessions, and emotions that come and go throughout our lives. We often cling to these things tightly, fearing their loss. However, this attachment leads to unnecessary suffering. Why do we hold on to what is fleeting? Why do we resist change when it is as natural as the changing of seasons? Stoicism teaches us that by accepting the transient nature of life, we discover a newfound freedom. We release the anxiety that arises from trying to control the uncontrollable. Recall a time in your life when everything seemed perfect. Yet, like all things, it changed. Perhaps it was a fulfilling job, a meaningful relationship, or a period of happiness. Over time, these moments shifted, sometimes subtly, sometimes drastically. While we may grieve these changes, Stoicism reminds us that clinging to them only intensifies our pain. Instead, we can choose to be grateful for these experiences and let them go gracefully, allowing space for new opportunities, relationships, and moments to enrich our lives. This acceptance extends to ourselves as well. Just as the world changes, so do we. Who we are today is not who we were a year ago, or even a week ago. Embracing this growth, without attachment to our past selves, helps us become more compassionate and understanding individuals. When we allow ourselves to change, to evolve, and to accept the fluidity of our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, we create room for personal transformation. Have you allowed yourself this freedom, or have you found yourself holding on to past versions of yourself out of comfort? Stoic philosophy, like the teachings of Jesus, encourages us to focus on what is eternal, rather than what is temporary. Man shall not live by bread alone, Jesus said, reminding us that life is more than material pursuits and fleeting moments. By nurturing values like wisdom, kindness, and resilience, we invest in aspects of ourselves that remain steady, even as everything else changes. In practical terms, embracing impermanence means cherishing each moment without attachment. It means appreciating loved ones without fearing the day they may not be there. It means loving our work while understanding that roles and careers change. Ask yourself, can you see the beauty in change? Can you find peace in knowing that impermanence is the one constant? When we live with this awareness, we become more grateful, more present, and more resilient. Life's challenges no longer feel as threatening because we understand that even difficult times are temporary. With this perspective, every moment becomes an opportunity to learn and grow, to find meaning even in the briefest experiences. As we understand and accept the impermanent nature of life, we move closer to a calm, centered existence. Now that we have learned to embrace change, let us delve into the next principle, the art of letting go. This principle will help us further free ourselves from attachments that disturb our inner peace. The art of letting go. In the realm of Stoicism, letting go is not about surrender or indifference, but rather about releasing the emotional grip on things beyond our control. The Stoic philosophers remind us that much of our suffering arises from clinging to impermanent, uncertain, or uncontrollable aspects of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees." In other words, what disrupts our personal peace often disrupts the harmony of our lives as a whole. Consider a moment when something ended in your life, a relationship, a job, an opportunity you once cherished. How did you react when it slipped away? Did you find yourself holding on to it, reliving memories or regrets? Stoicism teaches us that clinging to what we cannot change or control creates unnecessary suffering. Letting go, on the other hand, liberates us, allowing us to open ourselves to new experiences and possibilities. Why carry the weight of the past when it prevents you from fully embracing the present? Letting go is an active choice. We choose to release the thoughts, attachments, or expectations that no longer serve our well-being. But how do we know what to let go of? Stoicism encourages us to ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then holding on to it will only weigh down our spirits. This doesn't mean we become indifferent or careless, but rather that we learn to care deeply about what we can influence and release what we cannot. Letting go can be challenging, especially when it involves people we love or dreams we once pursued with passion. Imagine a relationship that has ended, with all its memories, shared moments, and visions of a future that will no longer be. These things might tempt you to hold on, but consider that by letting go, you free yourself to heal, grow, and welcome new relationships into your life. Holding on to what no longer exists only prolongs pain and prevents growth. The art of letting go is also about trusting in something greater than ourselves. As Jesus taught, "Cast your burden upon the Lord, and He will sustain you." This wisdom resonates with the Stoic practice of entrusting what we cannot control to a higher power, whether it be nature, God, or the flow of life. This trust lightens our burden, freeing us from the need to control every aspect of our lives. The Stoic practice of letting go does not mean we abandon responsibility or become detached from the world. Instead, it means we accept what is beyond our control and redirect our focus to what we can influence, our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes. When we let go of the need to control outcomes, we allow life to unfold naturally, finding peace in the knowledge that we have done our part. Reflect on your life. Are there attachments you still cling to that no longer serve you? Are there worries about the future that rob you of today's peace? By letting go, you make room for freedom, new opportunities, and a mind unburdened by the past. Imagine how much lighter you would feel if you released those weights you carry. Ask yourself, is it time to let go? Don't suffer imaginary pains. Have you ever noticed how many of our worries are simply imagined? Don't suffer imaginary pains. How much of your distress stems not from reality, but from the scenarios you construct in your mind? Stoicism teaches us that much of our suffering is self-inflicted, born from fears and anxieties that exist solely in our imagination. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, reminds us that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This principle encourages us to differentiate between real and imagined challenges, freeing ourselves from unnecessary worry. Think back to a time when you were anxious about something, a meeting, an exam, a social event. You may have replayed possible outcomes in your mind, building a sense of dread. But when the moment finally arrived, was it truly as distressing as you had imagined? Often, reality is far less daunting than the fears we create. Yet by allowing our minds to dwell on worst-case scenarios, we rob ourselves of peace in the present moment. In Stoicism, we are taught to question these imaginary pains. When fear or anxiety arises, we can pause and ask ourselves, is this happening right now, or is it just a thought? This simple question can help us break the cycle of worry. We gain clarity by recognizing that much of what troubles us is merely a construct of our mind, not a reflection of reality. How much peace could we gain if we let go of these baseless fears? Consider, for instance, a farmer who worries each day about the harvest. He imagines drought, pests, and countless other disasters. Yet all this worry does nothing to help his crops grow. In the same way, we often create imaginary worries that add nothing to our lives but stress. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the present and address only what is real. When we stop investing energy in imaginary pains, we free ourselves to live more fully. This does not mean we ignore potential risks or challenges. Rather, we approach them rationally, without giving in to irrational fears. In fact, Stoicism encourages us to prepare for adversity without succumbing to worry. Instead of imagining all that could go wrong, we can prepare for what is within our control and let go of the rest. Ask yourself, is my mind creating fears that do not exist? How would your life change if you focused only on what is real? When we free ourselves from imaginary pains, we find a newfound sense of peace and clarity. We learn to navigate life with a mind that is clear and present, rather than burdened by baseless fears. This clarity allows us to face real challenges with strength and composure. Having let go of imaginary worries, we now turn to a powerful perspective that helps us find peace in the ebb and flow of life. In the next principle, we learn to stop magnifying minor troubles, discovering a lighter, more resilient approach to daily challenges. 8. Avoid creating unnecessary troubles. Life is filled with small annoyances. A thoughtless comment, a missed opportunity, a sudden rainstorm. Yet Stoicism teaches us that these minor troubles need not disturb our inner peace. Often it's not the events themselves that upset us, but the way we react to them. Epictetus advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle encourages us to avoid magnifying trivial inconveniences, preserving our energy for what truly matters. Imagine you're on your way to an important appointment and find yourself stuck in traffic. Your first instinct might be frustration, anxiety, or even anger at the delay. But ask yourself, will getting upset help me reach my destination any faster? Will anger or worry change the situation? When we allow small frustrations to control our peace, we give away our power to external events. Stoicism encourages us to take back this power by choosing calm responses to minor inconveniences. Consider another example. A person makes a careless remark that bothers you. In such moments, It's easy to let irritation build. But Stoicism invites us to pause and reflect. Instead of reacting emotionally, we can ask ourselves, is this comment worth my peace? Many of life's disturbances are only as big as we make them. If we choose not to magnify them, they remain small, passing like a gentle breeze, rather than a storm. Avoiding unnecessary troubles also means practicing patience and perspective. We can remind ourselves that every minor annoyance is temporary, a passing moment that need not define our day. By choosing to focus on what's meaningful, we keep our energy for challenges that truly deserve our attention. Have you ever noticed how much lighter you feel when you let go of trivial concerns? How freeing it is to let minor things remain minor. This principle is a powerful reminder that peace is often a choice. In every situation, we can choose to respond with grace rather than frustration. Life is too short to let small prioritize rationality over emotion. It's easy to allow feelings like anger, frustration, or anxiety to dictate our decisions. However, Stoicism teaches us that a calm and rational mind is our most powerful ally, especially during challenging times. While emotions are natural, they can cloud our judgment, leading to actions we may later regret. As Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This final principle urges us to let reason guide us and cultivate a mindset where rationality takes precedence over fleeting emotions. Imagine a situation where someone criticizes you harshly. The immediate response might be defensiveness or hurt. But what if, instead, you took a step back and asked yourself, is this criticism constructive? Is there something I can learn from this? By choosing reason over emotion, you can respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This is the essence of Stoicism, to cultivate a mind that remains steady even when emotions surge. This doesn't mean we should ignore or suppress our emotions. Stoicism teaches us to recognize emotions as natural responses while refusing to let them dictate our actions. Emotions are like waves, rising and falling. Reason, however, is like the steady ground beneath the waves, offering a stable foundation. Have you ever felt the difference between approaching a situation with calm reflection versus emotional reactivity? How much clearer and more peaceful life feels when we allow reason to lead. Prioritizing rationality also strengthens our ability to make wise decisions in moments of stress or uncertainty. Taking a pause to let reason guide us can be transformative. Stoicism encourages us to ask, what is the most reasonable response? By doing so, we distance ourselves from rash reactions and cultivate a calm and composed mind. Imagine facing a frustrating situation, a traffic jam, a missed opportunity, or a disagreement with a friend. Instead of letting emotions control your reaction, what if you paused, took a deep breath, and chose a response rooted in reason? As we practice this principle, we begin to notice that many of life's difficulties stem not from the events themselves, but from the way we allow emotions to shape our response. A rational mind is like a clear lens through which we see the world more accurately, free from the distortions of anger, fear, or frustration. This clarity is the foundation of inner peace. Think about a recent experience when emotions took control. What might have changed if you had paused and let reason guide you instead? By choosing rationality, we make space for understanding, compassion, and wisdom. Over time, this practice becomes a source of inner strength, allowing us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. In prioritizing rationality over emotion, we come full circle in our journey through Stoic principles. Each teaching we've explored, letting go, embracing impermanence, focusing on actions, and avoiding self-created troubles, leads us to this final truth. A peaceful mind is a rational mind free from the storms of emotional reactivity. When we cultivate reason, we create a life of wisdom, calm, and fulfillment. Conclusion. As we conclude our journey through these 10 Stoic principles, we invite you to reflect on how these teachings can transform your life. Stoicism isn't merely a philosophy, it's a way of living that empowers us to face life with resilience, wisdom, and peace. Imagine a life where nothing can disturb you, where you remain calm in the face of any challenge, knowing that your peace lies within. If these teachings resonate with you, consider incorporating them into your daily practice. Which of these principles speaks most to you? How will you apply Stoicism to cultivate a life of unshakable calm? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share your reflections in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more insights, and share these timeless lessons with others who may benefit. Thank you for joining us on this journey into Stoicism. May you continue to grow in wisdom, strength, and peace.